Imagine sitting down for a private lunch with your hero. You manage hundreds of millions of dollars, yet as you wait at the table, the imposter syndrome is suffocating. That was investor Mohnish Pabrai at the California Club in Los Angeles. Warren Buffett had arranged the meeting. Charlie Munger sits down, reaches into his coat pocket, and pulls out a printed list of Pabrai's entire investment portfolio. Munger didn't use a computer, so an assistant had printed the list for him. He began reviewing it, stock by stock. With each one, he silently shook his head. Pabrai sat there in silence, later describing himself as feeling lower than the lowest low life. Then, the moment of impact. Munger's eyes hit Sears Holdings. He shook his head in visible disappointment and simply muttered, "Sears." Pabrai checked the clock. It was past 1 in the afternoon in California, and the market was closed. But before the opening bell rang the very next morning, Pabrai placed sell orders to liquidate his entire position in Sears. Why would a seasoned expert abandon his own conviction over a single headshake? For Pabrai, that silent reaction carried the weight of 80 years of mental preparation. Munger famously navigated the markets using a framework he called a latticework of mental models. It functioned as an internal filtering system. He drew on decades of data to simultaneously synthesize how variables from different disciplines interacted. When he shook his head at the California Club, he was running a simulation of the company's future based on those models. Most investors struggle to weigh more than 2 variables at a time without losing the thread. Munger spent a lifetime training his mind to juggle dozens. Pabrai sold his stock because he believed Munger's internal simulation was more accurate than any spreadsheet. You might expect a mind that rigorous in finance to be highly demanding in daily life. But Munger's investing logic sat alongside a quiet, accommodating personal routine. His partner, Warren Buffett, has famously specific eating habits, insisting on a diet from his childhood and recoiling if a shrimp is placed on his plate. Munger simply ate whatever was served. He loved peanut brittle, but his family restricted him to having it only twice a month. When it finally arrived at dinner, he finished it quickly and never complained or asked for more. Munger applied the same objective stoicism to his dinner plate that he did to a balance sheet. He accepted reality exactly as it was served. The truest test of Munger's mental models was how he handled life's everyday inconveniences without friction. That stoicism met a significant physical challenge late in his life. An infection threatened to blind his remaining functional eye. Reading was his primary window into the world. The infection meant he faced the very real possibility of losing that window forever. Confronting the loss of his most prized ability, he refused to panic. He simply told his friends, "I'm going to have to learn Braille." Munger processed the threat of blindness as another variable to be managed, not a tragedy to be mourned. Beyond the gruff exterior of the man who ruthlessly tore down portfolios, there was a core of deep generosity. Despite his declining health, he maintained a scheduled weekly Zoom call with his more than 20 grandchildren, ensuring he remained present in their lives. Even in his final month, nearly blind and in constant pain, he requested documents be printed in a massive 24-point font to continue his work. He continued seeking new information as long as he had the physical means to do so. The deepest lessons from a mentor are rarely what they say on a stage. They are found by observing how they navigate the difficulties of being human. To truly invest like Charlie Munger, you don't need a stock screener. You need a mind that accepts reality as it is, refuses to complain, and never stops learning.